President, I believe tonight is how does he get this country through
What
this
is up,
pandemic,
everybody?
months more of this, and what does the country look on the other side of this? What is his vision for the next 4 years instead of the attacks all night?
Lindsay Davis.
And time again, we've seen Trump attack Biden's mental acuity. So is he going to be able to prove him wrong? And contrary to what the campaign has said, is he going to try to fact check Trump in real time?
Chris, you help the president prepare for this debate. What's the thing you're going to look for? You say that's what he needed to do.
Trump on offense on the issues. If he does that, he'll have a good night.
Yvette?
We need a strong, sure, confident, steady Joe Biden. We know that this is not about ideas, unfortunately. It's about personality. And people know who Trump is, and it doesn't matter. So the lift is higher for Biden. If he appears weak, unfortunately,
we're going to have the first presidential debate coming up in 5 minutes. I'm looking at the
I think that
ABC
he needs to go
stream.
out and make the case that he has done a good job in a pandemic. His biggest challenge in this pandemic has been his uncertainty at the podium, his combativeness at the podium. When you look at what the administration has done starting in March, therapeutics, vaccine, PPE, he's done okay.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Who's ready for this debate?
You know, in 2016, Donald Trump was an instrument of change and people's anger, and he was going to be that instrument. If all he is angry and comes right after Joe Biden with nothing to say but his anger, that is one gear, fifth gear, he'll lose this debate and then lose this election. Because tonight's his last stand.
Let me ask you the question I asked Kate earlier. Which of those attacks from President Trump should Joe Biden let go? Which ones must he respond to?
I think in the end of the day, he's got to say what it's. Look, I can say whatever you want about your family. You can say whatever you want about my family. But this is a debate about the American people and their family and their future. He's got to. In 1992 in New Hampshire, Bill Clinton said, "The hits on me are nothing like the hits your kids are going to take unless we turn this country around."
That guy effed up Chicago big time.
Their future.
Why is
Don't make it about two guys just fighting about themselves.
This dude?
Go to the American people, right to the camera, look at them, and say, "This is your fight."
That's crazy, man. I mean, because the host is George Stephanopoulos. He's a former Clinton media guy in the 90s.
Donald Trump, the
I
bull
fully
in the China
remember this.
shop.
I don't
And
know how
I think
liberals
if he picks
don't
one or two
remember all
moments
of the
as that
connections.
disruptive force comes at him, Alex,
This guy got me blocked on Twitter, Matthew Dell.
forcibly pushes
I
back
called him out for being
on the bull that's going to be
Clinton
wrecking the China shop at the debate tonight. That's what I'm looking at.
Byron Pitts.
George, tonight we are a troubled land, so I think it's
Biden actually sounds like he's coherent. That's a big W for him, to be honest with you. That's my opinion on it.
If this were you tonight, what would be your first question, or what do you think Chris Wallace's first question will be?
Well, I think you have to ask about the tax story. That's the most recent bombshell to hit. So I think that's what you have to ask.
Yeah, that's why they timed the whole tax story.
I think we know
a story that was brought up in 2016, and these cats did not learn.
Jr. was that his father has to be his father. I don't think you'll really see a different Donald Trump tonight. I think you'll see the man we saw in 2016 as well being combative.
Yeah, if he focused more, Biden focused more on the Corona chain.
I think the key here is
all
going
about
to be how much Joe Biden engages with the president's attacks on him. We know they're going to be personal. It's going to be about his son. It's not going to just be about his record. And it's not just going to be what he says. It's going to be how
they're
he says it.
predicting
Is he
want to
calm?
go
Is he
after Hunter
pithy?
and all that. You know what I'm saying? All of his shady deals in Ukraine and stuff.
You know, Democrats aren't always great at placing the Supreme Court front and center in these debates, and because of the circumstances, I think there's no avoiding talking about the Supreme Court, about the future of legal abortion in this country, about the future of health care, and the Supreme Court.
I gotta tell you, man, to the two guys who's watching my stream right now, who you going for? Are you on the Trump side or are you on the Biden side? Like me, like you put a gun in my head, I'll roll with Trump, but I'm voting third party. I mean, I live in California.
Those are some of the big questions on the table tonight. We are just 15 seconds away now from the first presidential debate of 2020. That is the scene in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be right back.
This is an ABC News special.
We will make America great again.
We're in the battle for the soul of this nation.
With so much on the line, the wait is over.
I mean, because the thing is, Biden is he's not really running on any policy. He's running like he's a more decent guy than President Trump.
Joe Biden.
In reality, if you compare those two in decency, it's about a wash. It really is. The guy really is a blue version of Trump in many ways. Behavior. I mean, he's the second most Trump figure in politics.
Live from
Hilarious
Case
enough.
Western Reserve University and Cleveland Clinic in Ohio and New York City. Now reporting Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Good evening. Welcome back to our special coverage of this first presidential debate. Just moments away now. Donald Trump and Joe Biden will take the stage for 90 minutes, 6 topics on the table. The big question, will the candidates do anything tonight to change the course of this race? President Trump is behind right now, has been for months, and our statistics guru Nate Silver at 538 calculates that Joe Biden is coming into this debate season with a 78% chance of winning the White House. But there are 3 debates, 5 weeks to go, and President Trump has a history of shaking things up. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl is on the scene in Cleveland.
George, Donald Trump goes into this debate with his back against the wall. By every publicly available measure, he is losing this race, trailing in the national polls, no consistent lead in any of the top dozen most competitive battleground states. He needs to change the dynamic.
I'm gonna tell you guys, the thing is, they're not doing the polls right like they did in like 2016 again. This is 2016 all over again. The polls are not revealing what's really going on. Because there's a large number of like Trump's base that's not answering the polls. Because if you look at like the signs and all that, the on-the-ground enthusiasm, there's a lot more Trump stuff than Biden-Harris stuff. Even where I live at in Hollywood, you see a lot more Trump stuff. This is in L.A.
George, this is his
LA is like a really
debate
deep blue area,
House,
but you
Joe
see more
Biden has
Trump
never
stuff instead of
faced an
Biden
opponent
stuff.
before like Donald
To be
Trump.
real
He says all he
I
has
think
to
I
do
lost
to
my
win here
last
tonight
viewer.
is tell the truth, but it is not going to be that simple. Joe Biden knows that Donald Trump is going to make this personal. He is going to go on the attack.
Of course
Joe
he
Biden's
is.
goal
Trump's
and his
a
challenge here
gunslinger,
tonight
man.
is
He's
to try
gonna
and
fight
rise
dirty,
above that,
man.
to not
He's gonna
get
fight below the
dragged
belt.
down
He
into
always
some
hits
brawl
below
with
the
the
belt.
president. Biden will
His
fight
base
back
loves
if the
that
president
shit, but it
misconstrues
turns
his
off
record if he goes after his family.
sensitive.
But don't expect Joe Biden to spend a lot of time here fact-checking the president. Instead, he wants to speak directly to the American people. He wants tonight to be about the issues. He's going to hit the president
The media
on
is
taxes,
doing all
on his
they
business
can to
record, and
prop up
especially in the midst
Joe.
of this pandemic on health
Is it,
care.
yo, what's good to my viewer that came back? What's good? Who you got going on? Who you got for this
Trying
debate?
to get ahead, trying to draw a clear contrast, trying to set the tone for the debate to come. He did release his tax returns today for last year, drawing a sharp contrast with the president and that
Man, that was
blockbuster
some
New York
real
Times
good timing
Joe
with
Biden, we now know,
the
last
tax
year
return.
paid
And then another thing about the whole Russia thing, like,
we still don't know what the president paid.
yeah, they
because
dropped
he
that
has
info
not
today, like
released his tax
Clinton,
returns
like,
yet. It is
was
likely
behind the whole
first
Russia
question here,
thing.
George.
The moderator, Chris Wallace, is on the stage right now. He's
All
outlined
right, this is
6
like it's about
topics
to
for the debate,
begin.
starting out with the Bush from the Trump and Biden records, the economy, COVID, Supreme Court.
Uh-oh, here we
race and
go.
violence, election
It's about to
integrity. Let's go to
begin.
Chris Wallace.
Let's get ready to rumble! I can't wait, man. This is going to be the most epic shit show. This might be the most epic shit show ever. I mean, both of these old men are kooky
Good
disasters.
evening from the Health Education campus of Case Western Reserve University.
And he's probably going to be the most right-leaning debate host, even though, I mean, Chris Wallace is a never-Trumper.
Between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden.
I'm going to see how much water Chris Wallace is going to carry from Joe because Joe won't be able to handle Trump by himself. He'll hit you from so many different angles.
2-minute answers from each candidate.
I mean, it's like, I mean, Trump is all offense, man. So basically, he's going to be pounded in so many different ways.
Have agreed to these
it's hard
rules.
to really combat him like
For the
typical
record,
Republican
I decided the topics
candidates like
and the questions
like
in
Romney
each
and
topic.
he's
I can
a
assure
different
you,
breed.
none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the 2 candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic,
Biden actually
which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission
the way he's been
for all
looking
4
for the last
debates.
couple of months.
As a precaution, both
all
campaigns have agreed the candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate.
This is going to be
The
hilarious.
audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
All right, let's get it on. Oh man, this is gonna be epic. Yo, to my one viewer, who do you got?
For this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court.
Of all the candidates we have in the
you
nation,
nominated
300
Amy
million
Coney
people,
Barrett
we
over the weekend to
chose
succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong, and where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have.
I bet they're gonna have like a fact check every kind of BS Trump comes with on the pylons. I guarantee that.
Good in every way. In fact, some of her
to be honest with you, Trump doesn't
endorsers
lie a
are
lot.
very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time. Even if we did it after the election itself, I have a lot of time after the election. As so I think that
the way he talks is the main reason why they don't like him. I mean, he's just very crass. I mean, he just sounds like he doesn't sound very politician.
We have a professor
at
Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school.
He's over-exaggerating.
We just we won the election, and therefore
I like Joe is already coughing. Oh man, this is not good, man. He's already coughing. It's been a few minutes into the debate.
The only difference is they try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen.
Look at Joe laughing, trying to hide his laugh.
So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
Oh,
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad
Biden,
attack by Trump. What's
First
the
of
counterpoint?
all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is, and that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express.
I mean, they really do have a fair
is by
point.
who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that, he ran on that, and he has been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of
wow, he sounds coherent.
The Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice, and I have nothing, I'm not opposed to the justice, she seems like a very fine person. But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican,
he sounds coherent, man. Oh shit, man.
There aren't 100 million people.
I think all of those lives he's done in the morning is helping him out, man, because he actually sounds coherent.
Had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, She said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
during
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
Is that the argument he's going to make? I'm elected for 4 years.
People is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist medicine.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into...
Oh, he's using the socialist tag. Come on, man.
Number
Typical
one,
Republican talking
he
point.
knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23.
See, that's the thing, man. Trump already nailed it, already hit it below the belt.
We're saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you've said,
But
and it's not what your party has said.
That is simply
your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
now. I am,
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. In fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. By the way,
oh man, was that a drinking game, man? How many times Trump's going to hit below the belt?
Died on his watch. How many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID.
I mean, I gotta say, Biden's already got a W here for sounding coherent.
The Affordable Care
That's all you gotta sound like, coherent.
108,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me about this.
I'm happy to talk about
And if you were here,
Look,
it wouldn't be 200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You didn't want me to ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban...
All right.
Trump is very difficult to talk.
You would have been much later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's playing. Trump is totally playing to his base.
Segment, but
that's his problem. He plays too much to his base instead of being unifying.
Is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is already begun.
You don't know it's on the ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because
why is it on the ballot? It's not on the ballot.
Oh, man. It's the way he speaks, man.
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
and
just
you don't know her view on Roe v. Wade. You
I don't know
her view.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time. So
Trump is difficult, man. I mean, he's a very difficult guy to like debate against because he'll hit you from a completely different. He's not a politician; he's a businessman.
A week after
he's going to hit you from a completely different
angle.
angle.
The Trump administration, along with 18
That's
state
what a lot of the
attorneys
establishment
general,
doesn't
are
like.
seeking to overturn
Obamacare,
to end Obamacare. You have spent the last
because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual
mandate. I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of
Obamacare.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
Oh,
Chris,
he's going against Z. I knew this was going to happen.
Ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare.
He needs to take a break. He's being way too
I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your question. You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare. And just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing
coherent, he's
5
winning.
days before this
That's
debate.
all. That's
so
all he's got to
what
do is be coherent.
The Trump health
because they're
plan?
both going to matter their talking
I guess I'm
points.
debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. That there's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against Big Pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You
people,
could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care. All of the things that we've done, insulin. I give you an example.
Really
insulin.
It's going
to. It was
Come on, bro. Yeah, like 4 years to do something about it. You did very little.
So cheap. It's like water.
Especially after John McCain,
so
like that.
All of the drugs that what we're doing, prescription drug prices, we're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because they pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
let
but
me
this
ask
is
you about,
big. This is big stuff,
sir. You'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the vice president, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option.
See, there's a real. I understand why people don't like Trump.
He's too combative. And other Republicans make is that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
Well, if I can ask you the question.
Oh, man. Yeah, Joe's already there.
End private insurance and create a government takeover of health
Chris Wallace is trying to.
It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option, number one.
Joe, you agreed with Bernie Sanders, who's far left, on the manifesto, we call it. And that gives you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
are you saying you
Trump? Yeah, his ego's too big.
The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you already.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days early. You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to do is
Super Tuesday. You got very lucky.
Here's the deal. I got very
lucky. Yeah, he's not playing to the media. He's playing to the base. He's clearly playing to his base. But the thing is, like, it's going to turn off a lot of people off the fence by his behavior.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Yep. Biden got him right there.
I want to make sure.
Mr. President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has.
He's on, man. He's having fun with
this. The wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with Bernie Sanders to the manifesto.
The whole idea.
Let him.
There is no manifesto. Number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr. President.
Number two.
He just lost the left.
Number two.
You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan. Socialized medicine.
Mr. President, he is not for any help for people needing health care. Because he, in fact, already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two, there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
I want to give you better health care at a much lower price because
by the way, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to do that.
I've already fixed it.
He has never offered a plan.
Fixed it to an extent.
He has never done a single thing.
As you might know, but probably does.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the same time,
and it's too expensive.
Let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate. Listen, this is the way it is, and that destroyed.
Yeah, I see. What's going on, Dietrich?
Do I let my people
man,
really
this shit. I mean, this is unfair, man.
If I run it badly, they'll probably
This is unfair, man. This is unfair to debate.
More importantly, I want to help people. Okay, I said you got to run it so well. And I just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how.
I mean, the thing is, man, your boy Trump, he's too combative. I mean, the thing is, like, what he's doing plays well for his base, but the like folks on the middle and Trump haters, it's a big turnoff. He's being combative.
I have to give you roughly equal time.
I mean, it's all about decorum, man. Trump really like he's having a lack of decorum.
Of course we do.
And it doesn't turn off again.
He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, I have one final question
that's a good counterattack.
Mr. Vice President.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here. If Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, There has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues.
I gotta tell you, Dietrich, the bar for Biden is very low.
In the past to talk about
if he sounds coherent, he's going to win.
The American people tonight,
you got the media having his back,
either ending the filibuster or packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
You're going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact,
let
people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to
answer that
because
question.
the question is, the
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Right, gentlemen.
Man, he doesn't want to answer because he knows.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second
Oh,
segment.
man, I don't know why they did this, man. Oh, man.
The people understand, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing. They understand.
All right.
Oh, man, I got the Stephen Crowder live stream on the background.
Let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything.
It looks like Joe's going to sleep.
Normal.
And do y'all see that? It looks like Biden's going to sleep, man.
Based on what you have said,
or he's like reading something. I think he's like reading something because he looks like he's going to
starting
sleep.
In 2021,
this dude is not. I mean,
American
seriously,
people
this dude is not
trust
fit.
you
He's not
more
mentally fit to
than
be
your
a president
opponent
at all.
to deal with this public health crisis going
It's very
forward.
obvious.
In this
The guy.
case,
I mean, what
the
Trump's
question
trying to
goes
do
to
is
you
nail him
first,
as a
sir.
Trojan
2 minutes
horse
uninterrupted.
for AOC, like Bernie, like the squad's
200,000
agenda. That's what he's trying to
As you
do.
said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president
I see how you're
no
trying to frame
plan.
it.
He hasn't laid out anything. He knew
His
all the
ego
way
is
back
too
in
big. He's going to
February
come
how
back with
serious
something
this
because his ego is
crisis
just too
He
damn
knew
big.
it was a deadly
He's going to come off
disease.
coming across
What
as
did
an
he do?
asshole. Watch.
He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said
They're
he
both
didn't tell us or
predictable.
give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you.
You have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000. And one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist.
Oh, he got him. Oh, dang. He fully got it right there. Oh, Trump has good memory.
His 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives.
Below the
Many
belt.
of you Democrat governors.
Oh, look at him all, dang. He's looking
President Trump
down.
did a phenomenal job.
I think he's reading
With
something.
the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made the ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've got
The Trumpers say like, man, he's turning it like it is.
You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu.
Oh, he's going to have to blow the belt in swine flu.
14,000 people died, not 200,000.
Ooh, they got him. You got him.
There was no.
You made a point. Let him answer it.
And there was no one. We didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he's shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID?
What?
How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far more people. Far more people. And you would have been.
And by the way,
his own
CDC director says
he's right though. If you look at his tweet,
200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine. We're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
trust Dr. Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer?
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future, because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly,
as long as Biden sounds coherent, he's winning. That's all that matters. The bar for him is very low.
The head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words. Yeah. But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call them left, I don't know what I call them.
So you're suggesting that the head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slaoui?
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
he said it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also be after
when it's
that.
Generally available.
Well, we're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day. They're going to be...
His base doesn't like this, to be honest with you.
It's all set up.
By Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
That was said sarcastically, you know that. That was said sarcastically.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out, if we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have the vaccine sooner.
I want to pick up on this question, though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure. and disagrees with, his own scientists.
But you're saying
Everybody
you can't, or
knows.
Senator
And,
Harris is saying
no,
you can't trust the scientists.
No, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't.
Oh, man, I got to show you this hilarious line I got from Adam Schiff.
Will be suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But
at
there's
this
millions of
hilarious
scientists, there's
crap.
thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him.
When the coronavirus hit, Adam Schiff stepped up.
They're the people. And by the way,
I mean, look at this crap, man. Like he really did something for the coronavirus, man. Adam Schiff is one of the biggest liars in D.C. This guy was in the middle of impeaching Trump when the coronavirus hit his district in January. He's full of crap.
He knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as
he
saying
did downplay it big time.
Panicked,
he really
or he
did.
just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died.
But yeah,
And a
he
lot more
did
gonna
call
die unless
Trump
he gets a lot
xenophobic for
smarter,
shutting
a
down
lot
the border.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, damn, he's going
there's
personal.
nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
Oh, man. Oh, damn. Something direct. Damn.
The greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
You see,
and it's
We're going
going
to get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
Could he,
going
Charlie,
up
can you
fast.
stay on the fucking,
When it
can you
comes
stay
to
on
how
point?
the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward.
I gotta say, man,
whichever of you ends up
Chris
becoming
Wallace
the next
has
president.
been pretty
I
fair
want to quickly go through
so
several
far.
of those. Reopenings.
But he really
Vice
has to
President
drag
Biden,
carry
you have
water
been
for
much
Biden,
more
man,
reluctant
'cause
than
Biden,
President
man,
Trump
like, man.
about reopening the economy and schools.
You'll
Why,
say something
sir?
stupid.
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to provide
Tell that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
Tell it to Nancy Pelosi and Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with him in the Senate. And he sits on his golf course. And well, I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play more than I do, Joe.
Reopenings and the fact.
Well, he wants to shut down this country, and I want to keep it open. And we did a great thing by shutting it down. Wait a minute, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second, Joe. Just for
man.
We want to. He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are
He needs to
very,
sound
very vulnerable.
more
We learned
sorry.
a lot.
He just
Young
sounds like he's
children
BSing.
aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt.
He needs
by
to-
continuing.
he
If you look at
doesn't come across
Pennsylvania,
as
if you look
humane.
at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November 3rd.
I want to move on to another
because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to another
thing.
subject.
But those states are not doing well that are shut down right now.
Respond to that.
Oh, man, now he's splitting the states up.
To increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
I think
the
masks
efficacy
are okay.
of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. But I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Oh, man, Trump is too much.
The way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well,
oh man!
The CDC said if we just wore masks everybody wore masks and social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also said the opposite. They've also said
no serious person said the opposite.
They've also said, well, look
serious.
at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
He did not say the opposite.
We got a little bit more than a minute left in this
masks
segment.
Are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks good. I'm okay with masks.
I want to ask you both about one last subject, because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together.
Why does he always look at the ground?
Outside, yes, sir, agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
nobody will show up.
People with
nobody shows up to his rally.
All right. In any case, why are you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You go first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
but are you not
I've done
worried
a great
about
job as a president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you not worried about
we have a lot of people.
Sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever.
If I was Biden, I'd bring up the Tulsa disaster.
Experts,
because the Tulsa disaster, like Herman Cain, got caught up and he passed away from it.
I mean,
he needs to bring up Tulsa.
Literally on 24 hours notice.
If he brings up Tulsa, he has a major W.
People someplace.
Okay. By the way, did you see one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask.
What?
Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no negative effect.
No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect, and we've had 40,000 people.
He's trying to frame Trump as a guy that only goes to golf courses and doesn't really pay attention to dudes of being president. That's why he's trying to nail him as.
The social
nail the guy who doesn't care and only wants to enrich his family and goes to the golf course all the time.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move
on? Oh, man, that guy, he's so brutal, man.
Yes. The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown.
Much faster.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000
Yep, exactly.
people.
He's not coming across as
One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But
Biden is bringing the LED vote tonight.
Down,
strong night, no way to spin it otherwise.
Record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce.
Come across as more
That's
humane.
a record the likes
That's
of which nobody's ever seen before.
And
he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election.
That's the LA County director he's talking about.
People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce. Look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs.
Oh, he's being humane. Oh, shit.
And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well.
What is he?
Another billionaires have raised.
Is he really trying to play the Bernie angle?
Because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing? This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just wrong statement. Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in the way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools. Why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can.
He's working. Yeah, this message is working.
Your time is up, sir. Well, we are going to get to the.
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools. No, people
He's not
want
helping
their schools
himself.
Open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town, and I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their
There's a tweet from
local-
Chance the Rabbit said that Barnes is going to get talking directly to the
I'm the one that
people.
brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it.
Big Ten
And
football.
people of Ohio are
Biden
very
is winning.
proud
I
of
mean,
me.
to be honest with you, Biden is winning this debate because it's
I'm
coming
gonna
across
get to
coherent.
your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers. I paid $38 million 1 year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your tax
1 year.
returns.
I went. You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and we have a very, I built a great
I'm asking you a specific question, which
But
is.
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand
return.
all of that. No, Mr. President, I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me just tell you, Chris, let me just tell you something that.
Trump's on the ropes now.
I don't want to pay tax.
They got him on the ropes now.
I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation.
Oh, now that's a counterpunch.
Tax credits. We build a building and we get tax
because
credits.
reality,
like
he's the guy that wrote the tax code, so he basically he's only following his tax code.
By the
to be real with
Obama
you.
administration, if you can believe that. Now the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher makes on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. And I'm going to eliminate those tax cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need
Oh, he's looking directly at the camera. He's talking to the people. It's a good strategy.
Because you are president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe, I've done more in 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes
That's funny. That's funny tweet I'm reading. Biden admitted Trump takes advantage of his taxes is weird.
Take a look at what is the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Man, he's lost.
Number the tax. I'm going to make the.
That's the second time he did that.
28%.
He's answering a whole different question.
91 companies, federal. I mean, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it before when you were vice president?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was your tax proposal.
I got it done, and you know what happened?
You got it done.
Our economy boomed like it's never boomed.
The economy is busted.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming.
I gotta tell you, he does. I mean, like he does.
Final 3 years as
president, Biden does come across a way where he does come across a straight talker.
1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery since economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't booming.
He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since 1929.
Is it fair to say he blew it when, in fact, when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but
Chris, manufacturing. Oh, that's not good.
Excuse me, Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you were number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would take a miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing. Part of my standard fare.
I'm the guy that brought back the automobile industry.
All right, let him.
We brought back.
He really did. He outsourced a lot of it to China.
We brought him back right here in the state of Ohio.
That's his biggest weakness. Really, is NAFTA, is trade.
And in fact,
it's really China and trade. That's his biggest weakness.
Ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not true.
Many car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having
and they didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China than we did before.
This is his biggest weakness. China is his biggest weakness.
Down 18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out.
Oh, dang! He brought a hunter. He brought a hunter.
Billions of dollars to manage. He makes
millions. He brought a hunter.
And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma?
Damn, man, that's Trump, man. He was going to hit. He was going to get personal, dog, and he did.
None of that is true.
Oh, really?
Totally,
Mr. President,
totally,
Mr. President, please.
Totally discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
well, wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice President.
Oh, damn, man. Trump's going to keep it on, man. He's not your standard politician.
It's an open discussion, please.
It's a fact.
Well, you have raised an issue. Let the Vice President answer.
Discredited.
Did Burisma already make $183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr. President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally discredited.
That's a good counterpoint.
Well, by the media,
oh, man.
World Bank,
Woo,
by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the people who testified under oth.
So let me ask you this, Joe.
No, go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to you.
People under.
You got $3.5 million from Moscow.
He testified under oath, and his administration said.
Damn, that's going to be searched a lot on Google right now.
Really? I'd like to know who they are.
That's going to be searched on Google right now. Oh, look, we got another Trump fan in the comments.
We've already fired most of them because they did a good job.
Some people don't do a good job.
With you, wait a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just say, Joe.
Mr. President. That's a good one. Oh, he called Trump a clown. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a really good counter smash. That's how you do it, man. Biden got him right there. He called him a clown.
His family we could talk about all night. His family's already.
My family lost a fortune by coming down and helping us with government.
And that's such a.
Mr. President.
Every single one of them lost.
This is not about my family or his family. It's about your family. The American.
Oh, he's trying to frame his. He's looking right at the camera again.
Doesn't want to talk about
that's effective.
What you need. You, the American people.
That's effective.
It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
All right, that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice President, no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
question. Try to be honest.
He stood up.
No, the answer to the question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion if you
Oh, Trump, stop it. You're being a child. This is already